So this is the teddy bear that I really wanted really badly, and I waited 7 days for the eBay auction to end. And I thought he was so unique. So he's really considered a vintage teddy bear, although I call him antique. And vintage means anything that's 50 years or older, and antique is anything 100 years older. But when something's from the 1930s and the 1940s, I consider that antique. So nonetheless, this is a very, very, very beautiful an original teddy bear that's American. And I thought he was made by Knickerbocker because Knickerbocker had made a Mickey Mouse in the 1930s and he was wearing an outfit similar to this. And so I originally assumed this was a Knickerbocker bear. And since then I found out that it's not. And it was made by Gund. And Gund was an American stuffed animal and toy company that was started, I believe, in the late 1800s. And is still in business today. And so this early bear, let me show you him. He's really beautiful. Now, I did a video on this recently, and I'm going to have to delete it because my information was correct. And I don't like having information that's incorrect because if a collector finds it, they may erroneously think their item was actually what I stated that was incorrect. So I'm going to delete that, and that's why I'm refilming this. And so he has gorgeous glass eyes. He's made out of mohair. He has a little stitched nose and mouth. And his original costume, which was that of a teddy bear. And his hands and his legs and his arms are stationary. So he's actually just a bear that's in a standing position. And he does not swivel. And he's not jointed. And he's wearing almost like an oilcloth costume. And it appears to look like it's leather. But it's like a synthetic, like a faux leather. And so it's made out of oilcloth, which I believe is like some kind of canvas that was painted. And it's very detailed. He has a little holster. He has a little kerchief around his neck. Underneath his vest, which is removable, his body is made out of some kind of canvas, and so are his hands. And so he is just really, really unique. His hat does come off. Let me turn him around so I can show you him in detail. And on the back, his legs are made out of canvas. And then we have the vest and the hat. And it's pretty cool. And he's actually very heavy. He's a 12, 13-inch bear. And the bottoms of his feet have cardboard inserts so he can stand. And he can stay in this standing position. So look at this amazing, amazing old bear. And he was meant to actually depict Teddy Roosevelt, who was an American president, and the teddy bear was named after Teddy Roosevelt. Actually, in 1902, I believe it was, he went on a bear hunting expedition with some other politicians, and he was a big game hunter and a conservator of animals and wildlife. And so, but he was a big game hunter. And so that day they went on a bear hunt, and he was the only one out of the group that wasn't able to actually bag a bear. And so one of his advisors had found a baby bear cub that was actually on its own because the other people shot its mother and killed her. And he tied this baby, it was emaciated and it was very, very sickly. And they tied it to a tree and they said, go ahead, go shoot the bear. And Teddy refused to shoot the bear. Not long after that, the public got wind of it. And there was a cartoonist by the name of Clifford Berryman who had made a cartoon showing Teddy refusing to shoot the bear. And it became viral. Like back then, that was their internet, the newspaper. And everybody was talking about how Teddy spared that bear's life. And soon thereafter, there was two Russian-American immigrants who owned a candy store in Brooklyn, New York. And their last name was Mitchum. And what they did was the wife actually was good at sewing. And she sewed a little teddy bear. And she placed it in the window. And soon after that, everybody wanted to buy that bear. And that's how the business got started. And they called it Teddy Bear or Teddy's Bear. And they asked the president for permission to name it that. And he said, well, you're not going to make very much money doing that. And that's how the teddy bear craze got started. So this bear depicts Teddy Roosevelt, an American president who is known as a Rough Rider and an American cowboy. And so this is why I love this bear so much. I loved Teddy Roosevelt, and I loved his saying, speak softly but carry a big stick. And so now I was able to identify my bear because I just got this book, and it's called the Teddy Bear Encyclopedia by Pauline Cockrell, and it has oodles and oodles of information on how to identify what bear you have in your collection. And here's our bear right here in this book. And I was able to find out that it's not a Knickerbocker, but it's an American gun bear. And so this explains all about the features of the bear, and it has the same costume as mine, except for this one is in way better condition. So you see the stars on his pants? Well, mine has the same stars, and the stars on the vest, and the same holster. And so, well, mine's missing the gun, but I ordered some on eBay, antique ones, and they're coming. And so this is pretty cool. So I thought I'd share this with you guys. And I'm going to show you in another clip going ahead the little guns I ordered for him and me sniping and winning him. So what I noticed was my antique teddy bear was supposed to come with little cast iron pistols, and since he's a cowboy, and unfortunately over the years on these old dolls that are supposedly coming with these little pistols, they go missing as the children that once had these toys played with them and lost them. And as a matter of fact, when I was a little girl living in Queens, New York, I don't know why. I wanted to play archaeologist. And so I'd take a shovel and I'd start digging in my yard. And I used to find these little metal toys buried under the ground. And a lot of times I'd find little toy soldiers, little marbles, little dice, little dominoes, jacks, and all sorts of really cool, neat toys from probably like the 1910 time frame, 1920s, 1930s. And as a matter of fact, when I was a little girl, I found a little pistol like this buried in the ground in my little Queens backyard. And so nonetheless, I needed to get little pistols for this little bear. And so I went on eBay and I found these, a pair of them, the perfect size to go in the holster of my little teddy bear Cowboy outfit. And so these were really cheap. It cost me under 11. It was like 11 and change with shipping. And so I'm waiting for it to come in the mail so I can put them in the little holster of the teddy bear. And so I can complete his costume. So this is pretty cool. It's going to probably come in another day or two. And these little pistols are made out of metal, and these are actually from the same era that this bear was made. So it's really neat to have an actual antique instead of like a replica piece. They are tarnished, they have patina on them, and so when they come, I'll show you what it looks like when the little bear has them in his holster and in his waistband. So this is really a cool thing. It's coming in probably 1 or 2 days. So when I saw this old antique teddy bear, I just had to have it, and I waited 7 days for this auction to end, and I went in at the last possible second and tried to snipe it, just so I could not show my hand to the other bidders, because when you do that, it raises the prices because people counter bid against you, and then the prices keep climbing. So I always wait for the last possible second to go in there and swoop in and try to get it for a better price. And so I really wanted this bear, and since I received it, I found out that it was a 1930s, 1940s American gunned teddy bear. And these are very rare, as you don't see them very often. And so here's me actually sniping it, and I was so amazed when I won it because I really didn't think I would, because there was so many people watching it. There were 29 watchers on this auction, and generally that means there's going to be a lot of snipers and a lot of last second bidders. And so nonetheless, when I went in there and I won it, it was like so thrilling for me, especially when you're sniping at the last second. Your adrenaline just blows up. You get really, really excited, and you have a feeling of nervousness, like a nervous energy filled with excitement, but dread, because dread, not knowing if you're going to end up winning or losing. And you never know what's going to happen. Just because you're a sniper doesn't always mean you're going to win. And so that's the whole thrill of this whole thing. Just like going in there and sniping, not knowing what's going to happen. It's almost like going to a casino and pulling the arm of a slot machine and winning the jackpot. or not winning the jackpot. But in this case, I won the little jackpot of antique teddy bears. And oh my goodness, I'm so glad to have such a really cool bear in my collection now. And look at me going in there. The clock is ticking. You see the time going, going, and it's just, there I go. I placed it in there not knowing if I was going to win. There was seconds left, and boom, look what happened. I won this old bear. So I was just in a very good mood that day.